Welcome to another episode of the Metal Matt Podcast, and today is going to be really cool because today we are going to be talking about, really it's going to be a retrospective on every Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episode, so that's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's almost Halloween. At the time I'm recording this, today is Monday, and Halloween is this Friday. So I figured, you know what, I might as well do an episode on Treehouse of Horror. Because I've kind of been wanting to do something Simpsons related for a while now. And originally, I was going to do like weekly reviews of Simpsons, the new Simpsons season, but I decided, nah, it's kind of too late, a bit too late into the season. Who knows? Maybe I might still do it, but I might try and do a new Raw, Monday Night Raw thing now, because I am a WWE fan, and I thought it would be pretty cool to do a kind of podcast based on that. So anyway, I'm just going to be doing the Treehouse 4 episodes, and that'll be interesting. First, a couple of shout-outs. One, to Chucky's Playground, probably the best site on the internet. We just have a lot of fun, and we're having new members join up. We're constantly having new members, which is really, really, really great. I'm really happy that a lot of people are really kind of discovering the site and joining us. And right now, at the time I'm recording this, we have 70 members. And that's no easy feat, considering that we had just, I don't know what we were created, Chucky's Playground was created in April, and it's October, and we already had 70 members, so that's pretty impressive. I mean, and of course, we've been having all types of discussions. The place has been pretty busy, which is the way that I like it. I like it. And, I like it. I really, really like it. But, anyway, we love to have new members, so if you listen to this and you want to join, just come on, sign right up to Chucky's Playground. I'll post the link in the description, and come and join, because we have all types of discussions, and it's just a great place to be with amazing people. Like some of those people on there, particularly Spanky G, people like that. They're some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Some of the most caring people, some of the funniest people. So definitely join up, because we have one hell of a time together. And another shout out goes out to Movie Mayhem with my very good friends Spanky and G. And they did an episode this week on Ernest Scared Stupid. And I'd seen parts of that movie. I really need to sit down and watch all of it, because I really like it from what I've seen of it. And really, really and I do like the Ernest character. And, once again, just a great podcast. I mean, I know I'm just repeating myself, and I know I've said a million times, but this comes from my heart and from my soul. I love those two. I mean, they're just they're great people. What can I say? They're just great people who have great, chemistry. They're very passionate about the movies they watch, regardless of whether it's good or bad or somewhere in the middle. They love movies. They adore movies, and they love talking about them and, analyzing them. What makes it good? What makes it bad? What makes it meh? You know what I mean? And it's just a great podcast. It's very enjoyable to listen to. So if you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. I'll post the link to the channel in the description. They're just a great people, and they make a great podcast. And I also kind of want to briefly talk about WWE 2K15. I'm not sure why, but I just want to. It's my podcast. I can do whatever the hell I want on here. But yeah. Now, W2K15, at the time of recording this, comes out tomorrow for the Xbox 360 and PS3. And I'm not getting it for the Xbox One or PS4 because I don't have one yet. And I probably won't until the price goes down a little bit. Because I'm usually one of the last people on Earth to get a next-gen system, you know what I mean? Like, I got the 360 pretty late into the game. I first got one in 2011, and that was like my first paycheck for my first job. No. My first paycheck was I spent my first paycheck on This Is Spinal Tap and the best of WCW Nitro. Like that's what I spent it on. And I think the 360 was my second or third paycheck, but yeah, so I got the 360 pretty late into the game. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of next gen. At least maybe because I haven't played any yet. But this will probably be the last gen game I get because I don't know, but I'm really excited about W2K15. You know, I think it's going to be pretty good. You got that I don't know what's it called? You know, NXT, some type of NXT mode. I don't know who is NXT or what is NXT or something like that. And there's also that Rivalry Showcase mode with CM Punk and John Cena and Triple H and Shawn Michaels. So I'm really looking forward to playing that one. I think that one's going to be really, really cool. And I might even do a Let's Play of the game. I don't know. We'll see. You know. So that's all for everything random. And now it's time to shoot the shuffle. At number 1, This Is the Life by Dream Theater from A Dramatic Turn of Events. Just a really, really good song and really underrated song from that album. Number 2, Close But No Cigar by Weird Al Yankovic from Straight Outta Linwood. I think this one is an awesome song. It's a style parody of Cake, who I don't think I've ever heard of them, but I might need to check their stuff out because it sounds pretty cool, at least when it's done by Weird Al anyway. Number 3, Working for the Weekend by Loverboy from Get Lucky. This is a pretty cool 80s jam. Number 4, Dark Side of the Womb by Typo Negative from Bloody Kisses. This is just kind of a segue into it. It's very brief. It's probably like 30 seconds or something. I really don't know, but it's very brief, you know, and it's really not that special. Number 5, Behind Those Eyes by Three Doors Down from 17 Days. I'm not a huge Three Doors Down fan. They're just kind of meh to me, kind of hit and miss. But this one is one of those hits because I do like the song. Number 6, Feed My Head by Dio from Magica. I really like this one. I think this is a pretty underrated one from his 2000 album. And I love the little robot voice at the beginning of it. Feed my head. Feed my head. Feed my head. Feed my head. Okay. Okay. Okay, number 7. Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue by Ramones from Ramones. Now I wanna sniff some glue. All the boys want something to do. Yeah, this is a great little punk song by the Ramones. Number 8, Good Enough by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers from Mojo. And this is a really great song from Mojo, which is their 2010 album. And I really need to get their new album. I don't recall what it's called. I'm trying to remember. I really don't know. It's killing me that I can't remember, but it just came out like a few months ago. And I really need to listen to it because I am a Tom Petty fan. I don't think I've ever told this story before, but I went to go see Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers at Jazz Fest a couple years ago in New Orleans. And this might have been, what, 2012, maybe? I think it was 2012. And they played the song as well as countless others. And I remember them kind of just jamming on Last Dance with Mary Jane's Last Dance. I remember them jamming on that one for a while, and I really liked that one. I really think that was really good. And they played a great show, that night. I thought that they were really good. It's a very tight band. But I was actually kind of annoyed that I was going that week because I think the week after I was going, the Foo Fighters were there. So I'm like, but yeah, Tom Petty and Harper is still pretty cool. And I also got to see a little bit of CeeLo Green, and that was really interesting. And from where I live, it's a really long drive to New Orleans, and I don't think I'd ever been to New Orleans before. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting city, but it also feels kind of unsafe at the same time. like every 30 seconds, I thought I was going to get killed. Because we were driving around in kind of a bad neighborhood. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, it was an interesting adventure to get to New Orleans, that's for sure. But, yeah, it was definitely worth it because Tom Petty really rocked the house, or the, outside venue. But, yeah, it was just a really cool moment and cool experience to see, a classic rocker like Tom Petty just go up on stage and do his thing. And number 9, Rape Me by Nirvana from In Utero. I wouldn't say this is one of Nirvana's better songs, but it's still interesting to listen to. And finally, number 10, Machine Man by Judas Priest from Demolition. And this one it's okay. It's not the greatest song in the world, but for what it is, it's fine. So now we move on to The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. So there's about 25 Treehouse of Horrors, which I think actually makes it even better now that I'm doing this. But yeah, we'll go ahead and start with the first one, Treehouse of Horror 1. And this aired October 25th, 1990. So I was not even born yet. So basically, I guess it's kind of an anthology kind of series, It's 3 separate stories, and sometimes there's a wraparound, sometimes not. In some of the early ones there were wraparound segments, but in the later episodes they pretty much ignored this, But anyway, the first one. Bart, Lisa, and Maggie, sit in the treehouse, and they just tell, and I think Bart tells 2 stories, or Lisa tells 2 stories, I'm not sure. But, and then Homer kind of eavesdrops on them. And the first segment is called Bad Dream House, and I think this is like a parody of Amityville Horror. And this one is pretty cool. But I just love the ending to it because the house ends up, it thinks it's over, and instead of deciding to live with the Simpsons, it decides to destroy itself. And I thought that was a pretty cool little twist on things. The next segment, this is the first one with Kang and Kodos. And they're kind of a Treehouse of Horror tradition. they pretty much appear in every single one. Most of the time they have a major role, sometimes not, but it's always good to see them. And I think this is like a parody of an old Twilight Zone episode, and it's pretty funny. And finally, The Raven. And it's basically a retelling of The Raven with Simpsons characters. Homer is like the narrator, or the lead character at least, because James Earl Jones is the narrator. And Bart is the Raven, Homer is the lead character. And it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot's really changed from it, but it's still pretty cool. So overall, Treehouse of Horror 2 was a really nice start to the whole Treehouse of Horror thing. It really is pretty cool. So then we move on to Treehouse of Horror 2 from Season 3. The first Treehouse of Horror was in Season 2, so let's start. That'd be interesting. And this one actually did air on Halloween. Treehouse of Horror 2 aired on Halloween of 1991. And this one was pretty good, as far as I can recall. And the Simpsons return home after trick-or-treating. They have like a giant bag of candy. And like Marge tells them that the candy will cause nightmares, but Homer, Lisa, and Bart eat from the large candy pile. And then the whole three stories are nightmares that Homer, Lisa, and Bart have. And Lisa's nightmare is the first segment, and it's the monkey's paw. And this one is pretty funny, There's one great line in here. I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but it's like, well, he did. Like Homer's like, well, he did say that this paw would bring misfortune to everyone, but I just thought he was being colorful. I don't know why. That just kind of cracks me up, And then in the second segment, the Bart Zone. So this is Bart's nightmare. This is okay at best. It's really not that memorable. And then the third segment, If I Only Had a Brain, and this is Homer's nightmare. And I think his head ends up, he becomes a gravedigger. And Homer, who's actually sleeping in an open grave, which is funny enough in itself, but he mistakes that he's a corpse, even though he's very clearly alive. But yeah, so and he removes Homer's brain with an ice cream scoop, and he places it in a robot. But Robo Homer is just as lazy as he was, And I think okay, like they have like two heads now. Homer finds Mr. Burns' head on his shoulder. It's just really, this Treehouse of Horror 2 overall it's pretty good. The second segment just kind of zones out a little bit, but I think it's pretty good. So we move on to Treehouse of Horror 3, and in this one, it starts with the segment Clown Without Pity. And it's mainly a parody of the Living Doll episode of the original Twilight Zone. And there's elements of other stuff in there as well. The Chucky movies, of course, I'm sure that was a big influence on there. You can kind of see the Chucky movies, specifically the first three. There's also Trilogy of Terror, not the Chucky's Playground story that comes today, in fact, and also the cashier that sells Homer the Krusty doll is he's a parody of the guy from Gremlins, so the episode it's kind of all over the place, really. And Homer realizes that he forgot to buy Bart a present. And the way he does it is great. And Bart's like, Homer, where's your present? Homer's like, don't worry, son. That's just really funny. And the shopkeeper warns him that the doll is cursed, but Homer really doesn't listen. And the great thing about this part is it kind of goes on for just a little bit, where he's like, the doll is cursed. Homer's like, that's bad. And he's like, but it comes with a free Frogurt. That's good. The Frogurt is also cursed. That's bad. But you get your choice of topping. That's good. It contains benzoate or whatever it's called. And Homer just stares blankly at him. Shopkeeper. That's bad. Can I go now? And I just love that whole exchange of that one. And Homer is playing with the doll, and it says that he's going to kill him. And of course he attempts to kill Homer, and he drops it in a bottomless pit. And and then it goes back to his home, and it tackles him into the kitchen. And how it ends is just hilarious. And the repairman arrives and discovers that the doll has been accidentally set to evil instead of good. And that just kind of made me laugh so much. And that kind of made me think of Child's Play in a little bit. And I always thought it would have been hilarious if Chucky had a good mode and a bad mode. It was like, well, if Catherine Hicks' character just saw that there was a good and evil mode, why didn't she just switch it to good? I mean, that would have been hilarious if it was in Child's Play. But anyway, so that's probably the best segment in this episode. Then we move on to King Homer, and that's the King Kong parody. And that's a really good one, you know. And I don't know where you go to Skull Island and Candy Apple Island. What's that? Apes, but they're not so big. But this one, it's pretty much your standard King Kong parody, you know. And it really doesn't get started until they go back to New York. And he squashes the reporter, and the animation on that one is just great. And Barney's like, hey, monkey, want a peanut? And Homer just takes the whole bag. And Barney's like, I said one! And this is really funny. And then he, eats Shirley Temple, which is kind of a dark kind of a joke. And then he attempts to climb the Empire State Building. But he cannot get past the second story. He just drops from the second story. And that's pretty funny. And then we have Dial Z for zombies. And that one's okay. It's really not that great. I do like how Homer kills all the zombies. He kills George Washington, Albert Einstein, stuff like that. And he also kills William Shakespeare. And Shakespeare's like, is this the end of zombie Shakespeare? And this is really, really pretty funny, you know. And so overall, Treehouse of 4-3, it's pretty good. So then we move on to Treehouse of Horror 4 in Season 5. And all the wraparounds are a parody of this old TV show, Night Gallery, which was it was sort of a successor of sorts. It's sort of like a sequel to the Twilight Zone, but where the Twilight Zone kind of focused on science fiction and stuff like that, Night Gallery focused more on horror. But that's what the wraparounds are. And then we have the devil and Homer Simpson. And Homer, he wants to sell his soul for a donut. And the devil, who is Ned Flanders, which is just hilarious. And then Homer, he almost finishes it, but he realizes that Flanders will not be able to have his soul if he doesn't eat all of the donut. I'm smarter than the devil. I'm smarter than the devil. But, yeah. So, Homer ends up eating it anyway, at a midnight snack. And he attempts to take possession of Homer's soul. And they hold, a trial. And Homer spends, the day in hell. And he's being forced to eat thousands of donuts. But, of course, since this is Homer we're talking about, it doesn't really work out that well. And then, all the jury... And it's pretty funny. And Richard Nixon, for some reason, is on there, even though he was still alive. And the devil was like, "Hey, look, I did a favor for you." And they were in favor of the Simpsons because they think that Homer's soul is the property of Marge, since Homer pretty much gave her soul in marriage and blah blah blah. And he decides to turn Homer's head into a donut, which in the design of this is just awesomely hilarious. And Homer keeps picking at it. Oh, but I'm so sweet and tasty. And then the entire house is surrounded with the police force. Don't worry, boys. He's got to come out sometime. And so the second one, Terror at 5.5 feet. And this one is okay. It's not that great. And Bart rides the school bus one rainy morning, and he panics when he sees a green gremlin on the side of the bus. And it's pretty much like the Nightmare at 20,000 feet from Twilight Zone. And that one's okay. Then we have Bart Simpson's Dracula, and I like what comes before this one, because they're all set after paintings, and then the third one was supposed to be like the dogs playing poker. Anyone who dares to gaze upon it will go mad. They're dogs, and they're playing poker. And we had a story for this one, but it was far too intense. So we just threw something with vampires. And this is a parody of, I believe, Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, which I think was out at the time that the episode was made. So they visit to Pennsylvania. I like that. And then Burns answers the door, and it's pretty funny. Good, a few more people for my army of the undead, or something like that. And Smear's like, "Sir, you have to already go to bun." It's like, "Oh, son of a bit!" And then the door opens, and that's pretty funny. And so Bart ends up getting bitten by Burns, and Burns' look in this episode, it's supposed to be like in the movie, but it looks really ridiculous, both in the movie and the parody as well. It really does look ridiculous. It's really not how I picture Dracula. But anyway, Undead Bart and his vampire friends, which is kind of a parody of the Lost Boys. And I love I love the part where Homer, they decide to kill the head vampire. And then he's like, "Die, you monster!" And he just stabs a stake in Burns. And Lisa's like, "Dad, that's his crotch." And that's probably the best part of the episode, because that's just really hilarious.